Welcome into another edition of Quick Hit Bears. I'm your host, Grayson Grunhafer. Today, we're talking about Tevin Williams, Baylor cornerback. Interesting prospect. He was a 2021 recruit out of Oklahoma. Mainly got recruited initially because of his athleticism. He came to camp, tested well, which matched his 10.2 second 100 meter and 20.92 second 200 meter that he ran in high school. So very good prospect, a lot of speed at 6'1". And then also, as his recruitment continued, just ended up being a great cultural fit for this Baylor program, and he continues to be that on this Baylor roster. Last year, he played in 12 games, wasn't extremely effective, didn't really leave a huge mark, but got some playing time and some valuable experience. He redshirted his true freshman year, but in general, his biggest moment was the game against Texas Tech in Lubbock. Had a big interception in the end zone, which I'm sure most people remember. It was a huge play in that game and one that really showed off his athleticism, his length, his range, and just showed that he can be a guy moving forward who could step into a big role on this Baylor football team. That playing time was huge for him. I think going into this year, though, is trying to be more consistent and trying to figure out a way to become a potential starter on this football team as they're moving into a new direction as far as their defensive scheme goes.
Just staying more relaxed, being more patient and press. Sometimes I get a little bit hyper, but other than that, it's just playing full speed and just playing with confidence.
This is all about improving for Tevin. This is just a time for him to continue to grow and get better and better. And right now, he's still a young guy, a lot of areas to grow. But I would say that when you look at kind of the things that he talks about and the things that are important to him and what he mentions, this new scheme where they're going to be playing more press coverage, I think fits his game really well. He's rangy, he's fast, he can kind of really focus on just his man instead of focusing on the zone coverages that they had to work on a year ago under Ron Roberts. It just seems like the secondary really wasn't able to adjust quickly enough to that scheme, and it really hurt them. At times last year, you saw a lot of busted coverages, and I think now they can play a little bit faster and a little bit more sure of the things that they need to do in this defense. So obviously, the main guy who kind of fits into the reason why they're playing more press coverage is Mathew Powledge, and Tevin Williams said a few things about Mathew Powledge during his presser.
He has a lot of swagger. Last year, it's kind of we were playing for each other, not really the coaches, but kind of with this year, you can tell that we're going to play for Coach Powledge and everybody around us.
I think this is one of the most interesting statements that we've kind of heard this offseason, really, because it was very blunt. I mean, it essentially talks about the fact that last year they weren't playing for the entire team. They weren't really playing for the coaches. The players were just playing for the players. And when that happens, it doesn't really mean that there's a great culture. And I think that we saw that last year. Tevin mentioning it here, I think, is a big deal. And speaking to the fact that with Mathew Powledge in the fold, you can tell that guys are really playing for everyone this year. This is a total team effort. And that's huge going forward. Baylor really needs that after last year where we heard so many things about the culture not being great, or there's problems in the locker room, or, players and coaches just aren't as connected as they were the year before. So to hear this, that with Mathew Powledge coming in, I just think that the cornerbacks are going to be much happier with his scheme and the way he coaches. I think safety's the exact same way. I think Mathew Powledge in general is a rising star in the industry. He relates really well with his players, and I think that's going to allow this defense to have fun again like they did during the 2021 season. But that's it for today. Thanks for listening. This has been Quick Hit Bears.